Sure, I grew up without much money and lived a poor life, but now, Emily has become a valuable employee who supports our company. She's not at all the person Mr. Brown thinks she is. Could you please reconsider? Saying this, I made my request to the couple. Then, I heard a chuckling laugh from the couple sitting ahead. Surprised, I looked up to find them glaring down at us with disdain.
Poor orphans should just go home.
Why would he smirk in such a situation? Seeing the cold, scornful look in the couple's eyes, I realized I had been looked at with the same eyes in my teens. Those who look at me like this hardly ever take me seriously, no matter what I say. Remembering such past experiences, I began to regain my composure. Understood. Excuse us. As I said that, I left the Brown residence with Emily. The next day, I worked alone in the office earlier than usual. I had trouble falling asleep the previous night and woke up earlier than usual that day. As I worked, I couldn't forget about the previous day's incident and turned on the office TV to distract myself. Then, employee bullying suspected at Chase Bank flashed on the TV screen. Surprised, I was glued to the news for a while before calling Emily.
Bro, good morning. What's up so early?
Can you turn on the TV? Chase Bank is being covered for a bullying issue. My name is John Smith. At 36, I manage a small construction company in a local area, leading a busy life every day. 3 years ago, the former president fell, and I took over as president. It might seem like a successful life to some, considering I became president at a young age. However, my life has been anything but easy. I have no memories of being loved by my parents or of sharing a proper meal with them. My parents were never steadily employed, drank from the daytime, and were quick to fight. Living under such parents, I couldn't have a proper student life and had to start working as soon as compulsory education ended. One day, exhausted from the unfamiliar work, my mother returned home after a long absence. Beside her was a small girl I didn't recognize. Ignoring my pondering, my mother coldly said,
"This is your sister from today. Take care of your sister, Emily."
Emily was just 3 years old at the time. My mother seemed to have grown tired of her constant crying and left her with me. From that day on, I worked during the day and took care of my sister. When we really couldn't afford it, I even took Emily to work with me. But a previous president and everyone at work were kind and took care of Emily. I love this company, which I took over as president 3 years ago, bringing us to where we are today. Today, too, started early. I arrived at the office earlier than anyone, opened my laptop, and began reviewing construction site reports. After a while, I heard the office door open. "Emily, you're early today."
You too, bro. You're always working hard from early in the morning. Can I help with anything?
Looking towards the door, Emily entered the office with sleepy eyes. Since taking over as president 3 years ago, Emily has been working as an accounting clerk in this company. "No, I'm just checking reports. But are you getting enough rest lately?"
I'm as healthy as you see. Let me know if there's anything I can help with. Oh, and I have something I want to discuss with you. Do you have time today?
Well, I have no meetings today, so I'm free during lunch break.
Thanks. Then let's go to the diner nearby for lunch.
After finishing our conversation, Emily disappeared into the break room. Emily and I sold our family home a few years ago and now live alone in an apartment near the company. We considered living together, but Emily wanted to be independent and started living alone. After finishing my conversation with Emily, I returned my focus to the reports. Soon, other employees arrived, and another day at the office began. And just like that, the hectic morning work came to an end, and before I knew it, it was lunch break. Emily and I headed to the diner we had promised to meet at. As we entered and took our seats, I immediately addressed her. "Emily, why the sudden talk? What's going on?"
Well, actually, I've been seeing someone recently.
"Really? Someone I know?" I was taken aback by her words and couldn't help but interrupt with a question.
You probably don't know him. I go to the bank often for my accounting job, right? I got to know someone working there.
Chase Bank, right.
Yeah, we met a few times through work, and somehow we just got closer.
Chase Bank is a local bank operating in this area. It's a familiar institution for us since we use it for employee salaries and deposits.
And the person I'm seeing is Mr. Brown's son.
I was surprised by her revelation. I knew that Chase Bank's presidency was passed down through blood relatives. That the bank's president's son was Emily's partner. His son, you say? I'm honestly shocked to think he's the son of the bank president. So, what did you want to talk about? Emily began to speak, looking somewhat troubled as she looked down.
His name is Michael, and I happened to be there when his father came to the bank the other day.
And
I happened to overhear a conversation by chance. He was reprimanding an employee quite harshly.
Well, it's not good to scold someone in front of customers, but it's understandable to give subordinates a talking to about work.
But it was more like he was belittling their education. I heard Mr. Brown saying, "Don't talk back to me when you're not even from a well-known university."
That's awful. I've gotten angry at my employees or partners for making mistakes or being rude. But it's always about their actions, not their education. Judging someone based on their education is not acceptable.
Michael was there too, and he said, "My father has always valued education and career history. I want to continue seeing him, but I'm a bit scared of dealing with his father."
Emily confessed with a sad look. Emily and I don't boast of impressive educational backgrounds, but we've never felt inferior because of it. Emily, through self-study, has become competent in accounting, proving that a person's worth can't be measured by education alone. Emily, you have no reason to feel inferior about your life. If you ever have to deal with President Brown, I'm sure he'll come to understand and appreciate your character.
"Thanks, I hope so,"
she replied, and we left the diner. Emily continued her relationship with Michael, occasionally updating me about their situation. 2 months after our discussion, Emily arranged for me to meet Michael, her boyfriend, in person. After work, I headed to the restaurant where they were waiting. She had never introduced me to her boyfriends before, so this meeting signified her serious intentions with Michael. Feeling a bit nervous, I entered the restaurant. After telling the staff our reservation name, I was guided to our table.
"Hey, brother, thanks for making time today. Let me introduce you again. This is Michael Brown, my boyfriend."
She said that a bit shyly.
Pleasure to meet you, John. I've always heard about you from Emily. Thank you for coming today.
Michael greeted me with a kind expression as he sat next to her. "Nice to meet you. I've heard a lot about you from Emily as well. Thank you for setting up this meeting." Michael, dressed in a neatly tailored suit, looked very presentable. but his smile revealed a youthful friendliness. As we exchanged greetings, the conversation flowed smoothly. Over the course of the meal, we talked about how they met, Michael's job, and before we knew it, an hour had passed. The conversation naturally shifted to my company.
John, it's amazing. Being so young and already a company president is really impressive. I respect that.
That's not true. And Michael, you're going to take over your dad's position as president in the future, right?
That's the plan, but I still lack the knowledge and experience, so it's going to take some time.
Michael said that, continuing with a somewhat troubled expression.
Also, lately, my father has been making dismissive comments towards employees. It seems to be causing some frustration in my department.
I've heard a bit about that from Emily before. Is he the type to care about educational background and social standing?
Yes, he has always been like that. But I believe that you can judge a person solely on their past education or social status.
Hearing this, I felt a bit relieved. It was clear that Michael could see the true essence and character of people.
Emily has also told me about your past. I was indeed surprised at first, but that alone would not make me dislike Emily. I want to continue being with her.
I'm glad to hear you say that. Our conversation went on, and it was clear that they were in a relationship with a serious view of the future. Michael would surely make her happy. However, from what I've heard from Michael, his father seems to be quite concerned about appearances. While I support their future together, I doubt he would be pleased to hear about our past. Hearing their happy news brought relief, yet thinking about the future, I couldn't help feeling a bit anxious. With these mixed feelings, we finished our meal and headed home. A year has passed since meeting Michael, and a new fiscal year has begun. In October, our company expanded, adding 20 new employees. And we've taken on contracts for major construction projects exceeding $200 million. The company's performance and reputation have started to grow, allowing us to undertake various constructions. My workload has increased, leading to busier days. Emily and Michael continued their relationship, and over the past year, I've had several opportunities to dine with them. Today, after meetings with clients and site inspections, I returned to the office around 7 p.m., not expecting anyone to still be there. As I opened the office door, I was greeted with,
"Ha, welcome back, brother. You were checking sites today, right? Good job."
"Emily, you're still here. You should head home and rest soon." Emily was beside her computer, surrounded by a calculator and piles of receipts, apparently working on something.
"Actually, I have something to report to you."
"What's up?"
"Well, last night, Michael and I went out for dinner, and he proposed to me on the way home."
Hearing this, I nearly spit out my tea in surprise. "Really? That's great, Emily."
"Thanks, brother. So, we talked about our future after he proposed, and we're thinking of visiting Michael's parents soon to greet them. Would you come with us?"
"Of course, that's fine. But have you talked to his parents before?" As I asked, she looked a bit gloomy.
"That's the thing, I haven't met them in person yet. I wonder if they'll approve."
"It'll be okay. If you express your feelings clearly, I'm sure his parents will understand."
"Thanks, as always. I feel like you're always saving me."
"Well, I am your brother, after all. It's only natural."
"Then, as a way of thanking you, I'll work even harder to support your company from now on."
With that, our conversation ended. A month has passed since then, and the day we were to greet Emily's future in-laws came. I was nervous from the morning, fidgeting as I got ready. Then, the doorbell rang. It was Emily coming to pick me up.
Morning, brother. Are you ready?
Yeah, all set. Let's go. Then, we drove to Michael's family home, the Brown residence. The Brown residence boasts the largest property in this neighborhood, a true mansion by any standard. Emily rang the doorbell with a nervous expression. Michael's father emerged from inside and led us to the living room. Michael was already waiting, which eased our tension slightly upon seeing a familiar face.
Thank you for coming today. My father will join us shortly. Please, have a seat.
At his invitation, we sat down on a large sofa. Emily seemed even more nervous sitting next to me. A few minutes later, the living room doors opened, and Michael's parents came in together. Emily and I greeted them, handing over a gift bag as a token of our visit.
I appreciate you coming all this way. Michael has told me about you. You must be Emily, and standing beside you must be your brother, John.
His father greeted us warmly. Contrary to our expectations of a cold reception.
Yes, it's nice to meet you. I'm Emily and I'm dating Michael. Thank you for taking the time to meet with us today.
Emily responded, seemingly sharing my surprise at their kindness. Following our greetings, Emily and Michael formally asked for their blessing to marry, which they gladly gave.
Have you already greeted both your parents? We'd like to hold a formal engagement ceremony before the registration, depending on the timing. How is that coming along?
Michael's father inquired, causing Emily and I to exchange looks. His inquiry revelated that Michael hadn't mentioned our estrangement from our parents. Seeing our troubled faces, Michael explained on our behalf.
Dad, I haven't mentioned this, but it seems Emily and John are estranged from their parents, who disappeared when they were young.
His father, surprised, interjected.
So, you two don't have parents. How did you grow up without them?
Just as I was about to speak up, Emily, sitting beside me, confidently responded to them.
Our parents left us before I could even remember. Since then, my brother, who was still a teenager, worked to raise me.
The couple looked at us with astonishment.
We agreed to this marriage because we heard she was the sister of a construction company president. To think we've drawn such a short straw, I'm sorry, but we cannot approve of this marriage. Michael must marry someone more elite and well-educated.
Angered by his remarks, I couldn't help but retort. Indeed, we grew up being poor. But Emily is now a valuable employee who supports our company. She's not at all the person you think she is. Please reconsider. I beg you. Saying this, I made my request to the couple. However, from the couple seated in front of us, a chuckle was heard. Surprised, I looked up to find them glaring down at us.
Poor orphans should just go home.
Why would he smirk in such a situation? Seeing their cold, disdainful eyes, I realized I had been looked at with the same eyes in my teens. Those who look at me this way rarely take me seriously. Remembering past experiences, I began to regain my composure. Understood. We'll take our leave. I said that as I took Emily and left the Brown residence. Emily followed silently behind me. Then, I drove her home. Unable to properly respond to her soft thank you and I'm sorry due to my anger. The next day, I was at the office early. Unable to sleep well and waking up earlier than usual. While working, I couldn't shake off the incident and turned on the TV for a distraction. To my surprise, The screen displayed employee bullying suspected at Chase Bank. I immediately called Emily.
Good morning, brother. What's up so early?
Can you turn on the TV? Chase Bank is being covered for a bullying issue. As she turned on her TV at home, sounds came through.
That's a Chase Bank employee, right? I've seen them a few times.
It seems an employee exposed President Brown's bullying to the media. The TV broadcasted recorded conversations between President Brown and an employee, along with interviews from other employees. After watching the news, Emily came straight to the office.
I can't believe he was involved in something like this. If it's gotten this much attention, the bank itself might be in jeopardy.
Yo, banks operate on trust. With the company's top brass acting like this, it'd make anyone nervous to keep their deposits there. As we talked, employees began arriving for work, all abuzz about the Chase Bank scandal. Several came to me, wanting to close their accounts, worried about potential repercussions on the companies and their personal deposits. After discussing it with Emily, we decided to close all company and employee accounts with the bank. Emily promptly started the cancellation process. After closing our accounts and working on opening new ones, a call came into the office.
Boss, a man claiming to be President Brown is calling for you.
Okay, I'll take it, I responded, and Brown's yelling voice came through immediately.
Is it true you've canceled all your accounts at once?
Yes. After seeing the news about the bullying issues, we thought it best to cancel given the uncertain future of the bank.
That bullying scandal is just some stupid employees stirring up trouble. It'll blow over soon. But canceling 5,500 accounts at once could endanger our bank's existence.
Closing an account is ultimately a personal choice. Our employees expressed a desire to close their accounts, and after discussion, we proceeded with the cancellations. I replied calmly, despite his furious tone. However, he seemed even more upset by my words, raising his voice further.
Are you kidding me? Is this some kind of revenge for yesterday? Is that it?
We didn't cancel our accounts as revenge for yesterday. Although I was truly angered by your words towards Emily, that has nothing to do with the account cancellation.
Losing so many accounts now puts our company in trouble. Can't you reconsider? I'll make it worth your while.
When I firmly declined, he softened his tone, almost pleading. He even mentioned something unbelievable. It sounded almost like a bribe. President Brown, born into wealth as the son of a bank president, seemed to believe everything could be solved with money. No, thank you. We decline. Perhaps instead, you should address the bullying issues you've caused in the past.
Huh? That's just weak people complaining. A little money to the press, and it's all settled. That's why I need more money now.
I was utterly dismayed by his corrupt mindset. The world isn't as simple as you think. Is there anything else? If not, I'll be hanging up. After ending the call, the scandal continued to unfold, with media coverage intensifying daily. I was busy with setting up a new bank account and ensuring payroll went smoothly. Emily has also been busy updating accounting books due to overtime. We were swamped with work, often staying late to finish. Then, one late evening, the office intercom rang.
Who could that be at this hour?
Emily wondered. She opened the door only to find a disheveled President Brown standing there. President Brown, what brings you here? Despite her greeting, he walked straight to me.
John, I'd like you to cancel the account closure. I've brought a reward today. Wouldn't this convince you?
He said that as he presented a thick envelope presumably filled with cash. I had clearly refused during our previous call. But he, it seems, could not accept that, insisting on a deal so selfishly. President Brown, as I've said before, we're not reconsidering. We're busy setting up new accounts, so please, if there's nothing else, we ask you to leave.
Even with this much money on the table, you won't reconsider? Then, I'll approve the marriage. How about that?
The engagement is completely unrelated. If Emily and Michael truly want to marry, they don't need your permission to do so.
Why won't you agree even though I'm pleading like this?
Frustrated, he bit his lip, glaring at me. It seems you've often solved problems with money. But not everything can be resolved that way, nor can a person's true nature be measured by their education, job history, or social status. What you need to see is the essence of people.
What are you talking about? Education and status are everything. With them, you can make money and grow into an excellent individual.
I sighed, unable to agree. As I've mentioned before, Emily and I grew up without parents. As a teenager, I struggled daily to provide us with enough to eat. We had no money at all. I didn't have an impressive education or work experience, but the previous president kindly hired me. Thanks to that opportunity, I've managed to grow the company significantly over the past few years. You can't judge a person's essence by their money, education, or status alone. Then, while looking down, he muttered weakly,
Was I wrong?
Then, he picked up the envelope filled with cash and left the office. A few days later, Brown held a press conference apologizing to the media and the public, confessing that the bullying issues were indeed his fault, and vowing to work on improving and regaining the public's trust for the company. It will surely take a long time to resolve all the issues, but I hope he doesn't give up and continues to address each one. Chase Bank is a precious company that the previous president worked hard to protect. I hope they make efforts to recover, keeping the previous president's spirit in mind. Today, Emily and I stayed late at the office again. I turned on the TV during a break and saw a report about the recent apology press conference. By the way, what happened with Michael after that?
He contacted me right after we visited for the marriage proposal, apologizing on behalf of his parents' behavior and words.
And what did you reply?
I haven't replied yet. I was too overwhelmed that day, and then the news broke the next day. I've been so busy I completely missed a chance to reply.
Michael is probably still waiting for your message. He's the one you decided to marry, after all. After a moment, Emily said,
You're right. I'll contact him. It seems like the company issues are heading towards a resolution, too.
3 months later, I was at a wedding venue. It was Emily and Michael's wedding. Waiting in the family room, I felt anxious for the couple. Then, Emily, in a beautiful dress, and Michael, in a sparkling tuxedo, approached me. Congratulations to both of you. I wish you a lifetime of happiness. Then, they shared a tender smile with each other, looking my way.